So hopefully this time will be better. Fingers crossed. So can you hear me? Is the question I need to ask. Let me see if I can find it on my own video. One of the things that's not that easy is to check that one is actually... You can hear me, yes! Hurrah! I checked this before I went down to London this morning, but of course, you know, that's never going to happen. So, yeah, I checked everything to make sure the settings were right because the chances were I was going to be back about a minute before I needed to go live. So I stupidly, when I got back 20 minutes before I needed to go live, assumed all the settings were still right. But never mind, we're here. Woohoo! So how is everyone? I've had amazing news this morning. I am so excited. I cannot tell you. I think some of you may know already. I had to have an MRI scan on my back because I've been getting new pain in my back. And because I have breast cancer, and secondary breast cancer likes to sit in your spine as a particularly favourite place to hang out, I was a bit concerned. And I got confirmation this morning, no problems. So I still have the pain. I just don't have to worry about that being the cause. So that was quite a relief. And when the oncologist rang me, she started with, hello, and her name, please don't panic. It's nothing to worry about. So yes, we have now got to go down the route of what's causing the problem. But we now know what isn't causing the problem, which is such a relief. I'm going to be 9 years on this year, so it's a really weird mental process because it never goes away, this concern, but you hope that the longer you skip that bullet, the less chance there is that you will be hit by that bullet. So very happy girl. So who have we got? We have got Sherry from Oregon, Barbara from Germany, Nora from Ireland. Let's see who else we've got. Claire from the UK. Joanna's here. Audrey's here from Scotland. We've got Deborah from Michigan. We've got Suzanne from a sunny Washington. Is that state or DC, Suzanne? So Cheryl from Florida. Yeah. So, April from Iowa. So we're covering the world pretty much. I have to say, when I got up this morning, it was lovely and sunny. It has been sunny until about 2 minutes ago. And now we've got black clouds. But I don't care. I don't care for two reasons. The most serious, obviously, is that my MRA came back with no problems, but also pre-order arrived, and it arrived a day early. Nikki from New Jersey, Washington State, Suzanne. Okay, so on the West Coast, long way across. Must be quite early in the morning with you. Anyway, I'm not going to go through my pre-order with you. Aren't I unkind? Only because it literally, I drove up to the house, having been down in London, and my UPS man was there. My personal UPS man was there. And yes, it's still in boxes, and one of the boxes was broken. So I do need to go through it quite carefully, but I'm very excited. So I'm going to be using Wild Roses stamp today, which is one that I think gets ignored. It's this one. It's carrying over into the new catalogue. So I'm very happy about that. But I think it gets a little missed. Oh, I've just realised I can put that light on, which might help a little bit. So yes, it does sometimes get a bit missed, I think. Hi, Steffi. So Steffi, my pre-order just arrived. Whoop, whoop. Slightly excited. I'm being really good though. I'm here instead of unpacking my pre-order. And my MRI is fine, which is even better. So I haven't put sentiments on them yet because I was going to do that before I got back, or when I got back, but this is what I have already made. But I've also made, let's make sure that yes, this one. So these are the same but different. Let me just check that I'm lined up right because there is a lag. So yes. So those should be about right. But we're going to Deborah from Baltimore, Maryland. I'm going to use different colors this time and only one lot of heat embossing. This is 2 lots of heat embossing. I'm going to flip the camera down and then we can have a proper look. And I'm going to run and get my white embossing powder while I remember, because I tucked it to the back. There we go. White embossing powder. So let me flip the camera down and do picture in picture. And I'm getting my hair cut tomorrow. Woo! So I will get rid of this ridiculous curl at the front. I'll also get rid of the ridiculous fringe. So yes, tomorrow is going to be a great day for lots of reasons. So, okay, so I'm using Rococo Rose because it is a retiring ink colour. So I've got Rococo Rose ink, Rococo Rose card, I've got white card, and I'm going to call it white until we're fully transitioned to basic white. So this is white card, another Rococo Rose, and a Rococo Rose. So I'm going to make 2 cards, and I'm going to stamp twice, but once in ink, once in one ink and once in another ink, and we will be embossing. But I will also finish the card, which I'm going to be using the Queen Anne's lace for the sentiment. So I've got celebrating all the wonderful things about you, and I know you have the strength to get through this, because I think those are 2 quite nice sentiments. I've just realised I put the dies back that I need for that, but that's easy. And I will be using a retiring circle punch, because all our circle punches are retiring. I'm so sad. Hi B. So Queen Anne's lace for the sentiments, because obviously Wild Roses does not have a sentiment. I am using my Stamparatus because to get a good impression I find it easier, particularly with a large stamp. I'm actually going to just adjust this a little because I've got an air bubble in it. So let's get that air bubble out. That's better. I was trying to work out why there was a lump in my stamp, and now I know. Oh, no, I've still got an air bubble. Let's get that sorted out. There we go. I had a really large air bubble and it was coming through on the other side. So Stamparatus, my favourite invention in the world, almost. I've already stamped in Memento onto a piece of the mini grid paper. I'm on a roll. I am indeed, Barbara. So I've already stamped in Memento so that I can see, and I did a very quick stamp, so that I can just see where the stamp goes, because I'm going to start by doing the heat embossing. I need these 2 bits to line up. So the first thing I'm going to do is add some seal to my mini grid paper. You can put it on the back of your card, but I'm going to put it on my grid paper. So Versamark ink and some form of anti-static powder. So Embossing Buddy is no longer in our catalogue, but Embossing Buddy, you can use a used tumble dryer sheet. That will help get the static off. I say used because otherwise you will end up with the finish. The tumble dryer sheet has a kind of slightly tacky feel to it, and if you use it new, you may end up attracting rather than deterring your embossing powder. So inking up with my Versamark, and I'm going to be giving it, oh dear, I'm going to be giving it a quick wipe with a wet wipe. I've got black embossing powder on my stamp, which is not a good look. So I'm just going to get a wet wipe and remove the black embossing powder from my stamp, because I really don't want black embossing powder on my stamp. It's because I was playing with black embossing powder yesterday. Right, okay, so let's waft that for a bit to dry it off. So, and for those of you who are on my team, and there are certainly 3 of you from my team, we had a Zoom meeting yesterday where we were going through the catalogue. We were doing a scavenger hunt through the catalogue, which was really interesting. One of the questions was, other than what's on pre-order, what are your 3 favourite things from the catalogue? And they were all very different, to the extent that people who said, and I hate ... other people were going, no, it's on my top list. But it was using Zoom, and surprise, surprise, there was no sound. So I ended up having my phone for the sound and my computer for the visual. Anyway, folks, I tried it this morning and it worked first time. So I don't know what was going on with Zoom yesterday, but there we go. So I've got that all stuck down. I've inked that up with Versamark and a cat hair, and I'm going to give it a really good press. And I find I've got slightly painful wrists these days. I think it's from knitting and crocheting, or just age. So I do find that an elbow works really well. I know you can get things like a blackboard rubber where you can push, but I do find that an elbow, preferably with some form of sleeve, works quite well. So let's have a look. You see, I've got a bare bit just there. So we're going to come back in with some more ink. I probably need to re-ink my Versamark, which I might do in a moment, just to show you how easy it is to re-ink your Versamark. Oh, another cat hair. Cat hairs get everywhere. And I know it's a cat hair because it's black. Right, I know which cat it is as well. My male cat, our baby boy, who isn't a baby, I should say, he's huge, will insist on me cuddling him, otherwise he cries and cries and cries. Right, so that was a particularly naked bit. Yeah, quite, Steffi. I mean, it's just ridiculous. But yeah, it was the first thing I did this morning, was check the Zoom, and I set up a Zoom meeting for myself, and it worked fine, and I could get myself muted and unmuted, and I just don't know what the problem is, but I will be redoing the link for our future meetings. That's better. I can actually see where I've got ink now. So I'm going to just peel that off the piece of paper. Now I've just got to find somewhere which hasn't got ink to hold. I have to say it's much easier doing it on a coloured card than it is on white. If you're using Versamark, because obviously on white, Versamark is kind of invisible. Right, so I'm going to shut that so that hopefully I won't get white embossing powder on my stamp. That's the word I'm looking for. So I could probably put a new pot of this in. So the black, I think I said, black embossing powder is coming back in the new annual catalogue. I've had it for a while because it was in a little while ago. So I'm bringing it out again. So in the new catalogue, you're still going to be able to get most of the embossing powder. So in fact, coming back are copper and black, because the copper went and it's coming back. But you're going to get a basics pack and a metallics pack. So you can get white, clear and black in the basics, and silver, gold and copper in the metallics. So I'm really pleased that both the black and the copper are coming back, because they are my favourite colours. And I was really sad when they went. So good news, yay! Clearly Stamping Up were listening to me. Hi Beverly, hi Kay. So you haven't missed much other than it not working, me dropping out and starting again, because there was no sound. What you have missed is we're using Wild Roses, and we're going to be doing a two-tone card, but a two-tone card that is also kind of mirrored in a way. It will become apparent in a moment. And the really good news, and I still can't... Oh, Kay, you're marvellous. Kay is always on it with the numbers. Yes, the big news is, and I just can't stop telling people, my MRI came back and it's clear. So there was me concerned that I had secondary breast cancer in my spine, and I don't. So it's great news. We don't know why I've got pain in my back, but I frankly could care less. As someone said, it's probably old age. Anyway, so I'm going to heat this with my heat gun. So I'm just going to heat that up. The Wild Rose background stamp, as Kay has quite rightly said, is in the mini catalogue, and it is missed. It's carrying over into the new annual catalogue, but I think people miss it, as in don't see it properly. So hold that down. So this is a bamboo cheese board. It's my old favourite bamboo cheese board. And I'm just going to melt this. So has anyone got this? As in, has anyone got the Wild Roses stamp set? I think, or stamp, I should say, it's hardly a set. I think it is really pretty. Really easy for a simple card. Hi Pam! Don't worry, I was late too. You missed all the excitement of me having to log out and log back in again. So fear not. Just going to pull that across a bit more and move my bone folder. Oh, Pam, I have finally, Nora's got it, excellent. Pam, I finally posted your prize. And I've also posted your class kit. So the Butterfly Brilliance class kit went in the post last night. I will be emailing the instructions and videos any day now. Right, I think I've caught it all. The white is never the easiest one to actually see because it doesn't go shiny like the metallics do. Let's just... There's a couple of places that are not great. Right, so that is that. That's the long bit. I warn you, Pam, it's in a big box. As in kind of yay by yay. So you'll know when it's arrived. Certainly the die cutter, and then the class is in one of my standard A4 boxes. So yes, there is a delay with the hoops. One of my team is sending me some hoops because my hoops have got caught up in customs. So some people don't have all the hoops, but I will get those out first class as soon as they arrive. So that is that one. We now just need a white one, as in white piece of card. I need to leave that there. Bring back in my Stamparatus and make sure that my piece of paper is where it should be. Pop my magnet back on. I'm not going to worry about cleaning my Typing is not too good. Don't worry. I knew what you said. I'm not going to clean my ink off because it's only Versamark. It's not going to spoil the my Rococo Rose ink pad. So make sure this is clean. And I've still got sticky on my mini grid paper. So I'm going to line up with, I've got this pencil mark that you probably can't see because it's on Memento. So I'm going to line that up so that it is in the same place, more or less, as the original, as in the Rococo Rose and White, and then just ink up my stamp with Rococo Rose. And I may stamp this twice just to get a really good impression, but we'll start with one and see what happens. But again, because it's a large stamp, it can sometimes be a little blotchy because you don't put enough pressure all over it. So the good old elbow in the sleeve works well. And yeah, I'm going to give it another go because the middle is a bit not brilliant, which is kind of what I expect to happen. And give it another go, and I'm going to concentrate on the middle. Hi, Catherine. You can always catch the beginning later. And we were a little late starting because I had issues with sound again. Had the same problem last night, but never mind. So we're using the Wild Roses stamp to make a couple of two-tone cards. That's better. That's betterer. Right, that's got quite a lot of ink on it, so I'm going to leave that in place for the moment whilst I clean my stamp with my chamois, which I've cut in half. There we go. Right, pop that away. K's on it. Still a little damp, but I'll try and peel this off. I'll get the magnets up is always a good place to start. Come on, magnets. So let's take that out of there and worry about tidying that up later. So I'll pop that in its little home. And then, of course, I won't remember that the stamp's still on there. But anyway, hey-ho. So hopefully this is nearly dry. Let's get rid of the ink pad. It's getting there. So I have two card bases because I'm going to do one long and thin and one short and fat. What box do you put your chamois in, please? I put it in something that is no longer available, but I can give you an alternative. So this is a half wood mount case, but you can just put it in a stamp case. So just one of the ordinary stamp cases. But yeah, because it's airtight enough that you don't have to, that it doesn't dry out overnight if you've just cleaned it and you want to use it first thing in the morning. And it's tight enough that that's wrong. It's loose enough that the air gets in so it doesn't get moldy. Hello, Marlene from Wisconsin, windy and chilly in Wisconsin. Ugh. So yeah, just an ordinary stamp case, which you can buy. You can buy them in packs. I think it's 4 in a pack. They're useful for storing all sorts of things. So I have got, for example, it's not very full at the moment because I'm in mid sort out. I keep some of my embellishments in them. So I've just got a row of embellishments on my desk, and I just label them with, you know, pearls, enamel shapes, sequins, those sorts of things. So I just grab them. So yeah, they're really useful to have. So let me just, this is still a bit wet because there's a lot of ink on it. You've got a spare ordinary case. Perfect. So there we go. So I can get rid of this thing, which is sticky and filthy. So that goes in the bin. Right, so I've got my 2 card bases. I need my trimmer because I need to do some surgery. So let's clear the decks a wee bit. And so later today, I will probably do an unboxing recorded that I can then upload to my YouTube channel. So fingers crossed, you will see everything that I have pre-ordered in that. And of course, if you want any of it, you can get it and put it in your starter kit. And if you join in April, it means you get to have a discount of 20% on everything you buy until at least the end of July. So it's quite worth doing. And that will include the pre-order for the autumn-winter catalogue. I know, Christmas. Right, so I've got these so that they are the same way round. I like to do that. It doesn't actually matter, but I do like to have that. K is on it again. I do like to have them the same way up, just so that I know I've got them the same way up. Now this one, particularly, because I've got embossing on it, I am going to turn it over to trim, but all I'm doing is taking corner and corner, laying it so that the corners are over the track. Hi Jackie, so hopefully you can see what I mean. So we've got the points over the track, and then pop that down, hold it in place because it's got nothing to push against, and then slice. So you've now got your 2 pieces like that. And then I'm going to do the same again. So that needs to go that way up. This time I'm not going to worry about turning it over because there's nothing to scuff off. So I'm just going to slice it like that. So I've got 4 pieces of card. Then it is as simple as grab your card base with that. I will do the what's the word I'm looking for? Sentiments in a moment, but I'll do everything else first. Catherine had a question asking if there's a joining offer in May. I don't, the honest answer is I don't know. Oh yes, so you did, Catherine. Sorry, I missed it. I don't know. What I do know is that we were going to have a second celebration in July and August, and the new mini catalogue was going to be released in July. Because of all the shipping problems, including the Suez Canal probably, they are all being pushed back a month, which I'm thrilled by, because it means the annual catalogue is going to get an extra month before people get excited about new stuff again. So that it will still, the celebration will be August, September. It will still be 2 months long. The July to December catalogue will still be called July to December, but it will actually be August to December. I don't know. There may be, but if there is, I don't know, is the answer to that question. They do sometimes have a joining offer in the summer, but with celebration moving and being around twice, I don't know. If there is, believe me, Catherine, you're on my mailing list. If you think I'm not going to share it, you know me, I will be sharing it like nobody's business. Right, okay, so I'm going to ask you, do we want, for these, do we want them embossing at the top or at the bottom? So are we going to be looking at this, or this? So I shall leave you with that for a moment. So are we having the embossing at the top left or bottom right? And while you're looking at that, I am going to grab some sentiments and some white card. So Pam wants bottom, if you'll pardon the expression. Right, so the sentiments are coming from the Queen Anne's lace set, top left. Well, that was inevitable. So we've got two so far, and they're opposites. K is bottom right. I don't think I've used these sentiments. They feel very new. Bottom, top left. I'll do the sentiments and then we'll have a look at where we are. So I'm going to do the sentiments, both of them in Rococo Rose, because it's quicker. So one block, bottom right. So let me get a pencil and go top, left, bottom, right. And we've got bottom, 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 top, top. Why not across the middle? No, this is for, do we want the, where do we want these? Top left. So this isn't where we're putting the sentiments. This is where, whether I'm having the ink at the top or the bottom, or otherwise the embossing at the bottom or the top. So they'll be like that, but it will be whether they're that way or that way. Right, ink would be a good thing. So I'm up to and including Barbara. No, don't apologise. It's me not explaining things properly. So please, please, please don't apologise. I'm going to try this out before I stamp. Yeah, it's new. So top from Renee. Oh gosh, we're even. So it's a new stamp, so I'm just making sure I get the thing off. Top from Audrey. The thing, that's helpful, isn't it? The film. There's always a film. So top from Audrey. Whew. Phew. Phew. That was close. Right, this one I'm going to actually, just take the finish off on my hand. Bottom right. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bottom right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 top left. Good. So glad I asked. Sorry, that was flippant, wasn't it? So I'm just going to pop this just a little bit further down because this is going to be die cut. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes, we've definitely got 5 of each. So that's that done. So I'm just going to bring in my 2-inch circle punch. Dead equal. Yep, absolutely. Couldn't make it up if I tried. So this is the 2-inch circle punch, which is perfect for my, oh, I have actually got a slight shadow, but hey, perfect for that sentiment, and is retiring. May or may not still be available. Haven't checked today. So that's that one, as in the circle. Okay, so I'm going to have to just make a choice, aren't I? I'll have a look in a minute. So that's that one. I may actually grab my 2¼ inch circle punch and add some Rococo Rose. So let's see, let's find a scrap of Rococo Rose, which inevitably is in the bottom drawer. I will oval dies. I don't know what you mean, B. I will oval dies. Oh, you're going to buy the oval dies. That's what you mean. Yes. Yes. So the oval dies are going, the square layering dies are going, the stitch shapes are going. I'm crying. But yes. So if these are things that you want, please, please, please don't miss out. What I would say is we agreed on the team call last night that for new customers, because they didn't know that they'd missed them, they probably wouldn't miss them. Hello, Carol from New York. New York. Right. Okay. So I've done the circle. I cut my fingernails earlier this week and I can't get hold of anything. You didn't get them in time. Oh no, you missed them, Bee. So I'm gonna layer that. I might layer this as well. So let me clear the decks and grab my little baby, and I need, I cannot pick anything up. Don't worry, you haven't missed that much, Carol, and you can always watch it back later if you want. Somewhere I put my dies, there they are, buried them. So that fits there, and that's more or less straight. And I'm going to, just so that I do this in one, just in case I want it. I may not want it, but just in case, I will cut a piece of Rococo Rose and pop that through at the same time, hopefully. If there's enough room, I'm sure I can make enough room. I like to put rectangles at an angle if I can, purely because they go through the machine easier. That might just work. I'm a bit worried about the Rococo Rose rectangle not being quite far enough onto the plate, but we will see. Okay, let's just check whether that cut. Yes, it did, so that's all right. Okay, so we can pop this away. This lives on my desk now because it all just piles up. It's brilliant. So I just pop the plates down and then I sit the die cutter on top, and it's tiny. I know I say this every time I use it. I swear I use dies more now that we've got the small one. Right, okay, so we've got that done. We've got that done. Pop the dies away before I forget. My fingernails are going to have to grow again. I have problems with my nails splitting, but sort of like delaminating, so every now and again I have to cut them really short to give them a bit of a boost. If I don't wear nail varnish, they just ping everywhere, but wearing nail varnish is also not a great idea. It's one of those catch-22s. Right, okay, so I'm going to make an executive decision and just see what happens, basically. Right, so which way up do I prefer it? Of course, I can't really make my mind up, which is why I asked you. I help you lot were. I think I like it that way. So that's what I'm going to do. Now, what I would suggest is, let's get rid of that bit of gibby, is that if you do this with anything, so whatever you're doing a diagonal with, make sure you put your adhesive on that diagonal, and especially on those corners, because they can catch. When I do just ordinary layers, I always say I'm concentrating on the corners, but for this you do need to concentrate on the middle as well. So I'm gonna go like that. So that's where my opening is. So I'm just going to come in, and because this is a layer that I do quite regularly. So I moved my hand away quickly so that I didn't get covered in ink, ha. But yeah, I kind of know what the gap's going to be. So I'm just going to press that from the back. Thank you, Kay. Nail varnish makes your split worse. Yeah, mine were not bad until I had to do chemo. And actually I was told by my then oncologist, rather than the one I have now because we've moved, that now I'm going to use Seal for this. Hi Kiki, late is always fine. Here is even, you know, if you're here, that's great. I don't like using liquid adhesive for white card. Hello everyone, hello Cheryl from North Carolina. I have been to North Carolina and South Carolina. I had a holiday with some people who had a business in North Carolina, but had a condominium. Oh, COVID's made it worse. Oh, that's interesting. Yes, because mine has got worse recently, so that's probably why. But yes, so it's the only time I have been in a small aircraft, and we flew in their small aircraft. I mean, it was a one engine put aircraft, and let it be said, their business was aviation insurance, so it kind of made sense that they had a plane. And we flew from there, from North Carolina to South Carolina, and I had an amazing 10 days sitting on the beach on Myrtle Beach. And it was amazing, absolutely amazing, apart from the fact I picked up a broad Carolina accent, which I have obviously now lost. Right, so we can actually, if we do that, that's sort of bottom right, so we've got a top left-ish and a bottom right, so it's almost as if we've got one of each. Yeah, I hadn't noticed until you mentioned it, Pam, but the splits, the delamination, as I like to call it, has got significantly worse since I had COVID. I mean, hey, let's blame everything on COVID, because nobody really knows what it does and doesn't do. I am still losing words a bit, but not too bad. Not too bad. Right, okay, so let's pop this one down. I'll try not to be quite so violent in my movement this time. That's better. I like to, if I'm using liquid adhesive, I like to use, and Seal, I like to put the liquid adhesive down first because you've got a bit more wiggle room with that. So if you're comfortable that you've got your glued one down straight, you can then not worry so much about the one with Seal. Seal is a little bit mobile, but not enough. And normally I would not put a whole strip of Seal down, but because it is in the middle of the card, I will, and I might as well do it all the way around just to be safe because it is a triangle. And then that I can abut to the one that's there to get that straight. And you can kind of have a quick check to make sure that you're reasonably lined up with your image before you do that. So we have got one that's in the bottom and one that's at the top. Ah, you missed my Simple Stamping Saturdays. Well, I will have to do something about that. I will have to think about bringing them back then. Got your second jab on Saturday and you're dreading it. You'll get after effects from my COVID. So did you have your, when did you have your first COVID jab, Pam? I can't remember. So I've only had one COVID jab so far. I was asked if I would like to have it the Saturday that I then came down with it. I came down with it on the Wednesday and they would have offered me a slot on the Saturday. So I actually had it on the Wednesday that was 4 weeks after I had COVID. So after I'd been diagnosed with COVID, I was in bed for a day, January the 30th. I think you might be all right. I've heard that you get a smaller reaction from your second jab than you do your first. I had a quiet day in bed on the Thursday when I had my jab on the Wednesday. Felt fine on the Wednesday. But on the Thursday, I did feel a little sorry for myself. And so I did take to my bed. But I'd sort of planned to take to my bed because I had been told that I might get a reaction. I don't know that I want. I think if I put the sentiment there, I don't want the Rococo Rose. But if I put the sentiment there, then I think I do. So I think the same logic will be for this as well. So if it's there, I don't know that I want it. Oops. And I can do that. But if it's up there, I think I do want it. And I think it's because the white embossing powder is not pure white. I think that's why I want the Rococo Rose. Of course, if I put them in the middle, I could offset. Ah, might do that. Might do that, in fact. And this one, I think I will do square. But I'm also going to add some other bits in because I can. So I've got the gathered, we will have to see, but I'm going to have it anyway. I would have it anyway. I think it's better safe than sorry. Even having had COVID, where theoretically we've got built-in immunity for a while, I'm gagging for mine. Trim the mat to your right to 1/16. This one, you mean? The only problem with that is I've got it on a scalloped hujima flip. But I could trim it where the stitching is. But yes, it's scalloped. Otherwise, I would totally agree. It would look much nicer like that. I wonder if I can fudge it. I might be able to fudge it. Shall I try and fudge it? Like a bit of fudging. So let me get the die and see if I can fudge it. So let's get more into the camera and see what I can do. So what I want is for it to be that size. So I need this to be kind of there. Oh, actually what I'll do is I'll line it up on the... So if I do the back so that it's just inside the stitching, that might work. It might not. Yeah, I absolutely agree with you, Teresa. You need lessons for this. Okay, so all I'm doing is making sure that this is inside the die so that it's not going to be cut. Excuse me, cut. And by default, that then means that the scalloped edge is within the stitching. So pop that on, comme ci, comme ça, which may or may not mean anything, by the way. I am not a linguist. I'm just going to grab a small bit of washi tape just to help things along a little bit. I think it might work as well, Buffy. Hello, Patricia from Rushford, New York. I have to admit, I have only been to New York City. I've not been to New York State. No, I tell a lie. I flew into New Jersey once. So I must have been to bits that are outside the city. In fact, I flew into Did I? No, I only flew into New Jersey once. Or was it Newark? No, it was Newark I flew into. Right, so I've got that, hopefully, static. Shall we see? My concern is what the corners are going to look like. But it's fine. Otherwise, I have a thought, which is always a worry. Me thinking, New York State is beautiful. I'm sure my brother used to, in the days when, you know, we travelled, used to go to New York State quite often on business. Oh, it's not bad, actually. The top corner is not great, but it's fine. it's livable with, and if I put it at the bottom it probably won't show. So let's tidy this lot away. I do like this. I like you giving me suggestions because I don't always see the obvious. You've been to Rochester. Hooray! Yes, it works. Hurrah, hurrah! So it's still possibly a little large, but I think it's a lot better, particularly if I put the bit that's a bit weird down in the bottom corner. Definitely better than it was. Why not a space between the two pieces? What, you mean some dimensionals? Is that what you mean, Barbara? Which would help, because that would push one forward and one back. So, yeah. Good suggestion. Right, so the circle's going there. The long fin is going there. I'll let Barbara answer my question. Circle sentiment is stuck on your cutting plates. So it is. Thank you for that. Right, so this one I'm going to offset so that it's loopy there. And I'll put dimensionals under the Rococo rose. But I want to put some, I think I want to put a zigzag, or a zig anyway, possibly not a zag. I'm glad you're enjoying yourself, Teresa. Fun is what we're all about here. So I think I might do a zig without the zag. So Barbara, do you mean I put this on dimensionals? So put the white on dimensionals and the Rococo rose not on dimensionals? If you can just explain a wee bit more, that would be amazing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get some Seal Plus and add some Seal Plus to the back of my larger circle. Then I'm going to pop on my ribbon. There is logic to this, not much, but there is logic. So I'm going to pop on my ribbon. So I've got my zig. I don't want a zag, I just want a zig. So that's in place. I can then make sure that that's about the right size, which it is. I can cut my ends, and I'm going to go that way and that way. So it's like it's a fishtail. So I'll have that there. This I'm going to put on dimensionals. And then the circle the sentiment I won't put on dimensionals. Dimensionals. Here we are. Sorry, Audrey. Sorry, Audrey. Audrey doesn't like me doing that. Please don't forget to give... Oh, bless you, Kay. Thank you. Thank you. I can tell you I'm feeling a lot better. Oh, you can't even begin to imagine how much better I'm feeling. But yes, I am. I'm beginning to come up for air. I'm beginning to get over the fact that I've had COVID. I'm beginning to get over the fact that we had the sad family news. Yeah, definitely coming up for air. Which is good. So I'm going to have this more this way than that way. So not central. The zig with no zag. Absolutely. You don't have to have a zig to go with your zag. Barbara, I still haven't worked out whether you want me to put dimensionals under this. Thank you, Audrey. Yes, Audrey doesn't like me breaking new dimensional packs in half. But it's just what I do. So I always end up going, sorry, Audrey. Air is good. Absolutely. Right, so I'm going to have this offset. So there's a little bit of Rococo rose there and lots down in the bottom corner. You can't have a corner of a circle. I do understand that, but you know what I mean. So that. And then this, I think, what Barbara means is to put this on sentiments and then this not. So I'm going to go with that. Because I'm going on to the embossing, I'm going to use Seal Plus for cat hairs everywhere, for the Rococo Rose layer, because it's a stronger adhesive. I could use the liquid adhesive, but hey, I have this out. So this I'm going to pop so that the funny corner is in the bottom right hand corner. I'm going to have slight overlap. There's funny corners in both corners. Okay, this one is slightly less funny. Let's just take that. There's a bit that looks as if it's sticking out. So if I round it off a bit, it'll look better. That's better. Right, so this is going to go there. So it's sort of even side and bottom. Like that. Give it a good press. And then this I'm going to put on dimensionals. I love that, Steffi. Pet confetti. Perfect. Oh. Right. Okay. So let's pop that there. Now I'm just having a think, because in one of our sets of sequins we've got Rococo Rose. So I might as well use some sequins. I am going to stamp onto the corner of my liners as well, because these are going to have liners. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some glue where I want the sequins. I'm going to put the sequins lid back on. Sorry. I use these because they stack nicely. So it's only one bit of real estate. So I'm going to put some glue where I want the sequins, then do the stamping, and then by the time I get back, the glue should be at that nice tacky stage. So I'm going to have a sequin there. I mean, knowing me and my luck, they'll dry over completely, far too much. Then I might have one there and one there. I do like my triangles. If you're new to my channel, you'll get used to my triangles. Can't make a card without your cat. Well, you see, I don't let my cats in my studio because they make a mess. But they make a mess even if they're not here. Hey, oh, I can cover up one of the corners that I don't particularly like with a sequin. Then I can have one there because I like my triangles. And then I'm going to have one way up there. So those are where I'm going to have my sequins. I'm going to pop those on my laptop, which is just in front of me, so they're out of the way. Grab my Stamparatus again, and two bases, which I would always have pre-cut, and let's open that up. And I just need another piece of mini paper. So a piece of mini paper. And come on. Oh, these magnets are incredibly strong. Right. Okay, so I am going to have, I think I'm going to go kind of there. Yeah. So what I want to do, I'm not going to be too clever and try and do both at once, because I think that is asking for trouble. So somewhere I have an ink pad. There we are. So I need to ink up this bit here. So it's the far corner, well, far side really. So bring back in my case, and I want this bit inked up. I don't necessarily need it to be well inked. I just want it inked. Yep, that's going to cover all of it, except the magnet is going to be in the way. So let's there. The 2 stamped and embossed pieces. Well, I've done one with, oh, you mean why don't I have a gap in the middle? So like a line of the Rococo Rose? Which you could do, but that's not really what I was looking for. That wasn't the look I was going for. So we now know that that works there. So we'll do it again. Good. So that's those bits done. Let's get those out of my stamparatus. Get those there. Right, back in its little hole, and I will forget that it's there. Right, okay, so I don't need the ink anymore. I need my tower of embellishments. The large pieces, yeah, I get that now. Why didn't I? As I say, because that wasn't the look I was going for, which I know is not necessarily a good answer. You could, absolutely. The stamp is amazing. The stamp should be loved a lot more. Right, in that, I'm gonna pop the lid on there. So I'm looking for the Rococo Rose sequins, which that is, I think, Rococo Rose. Oh, it's Rococo Rose with something in the middle of it. That is Rococo, whoops, come on. Get a few of these out and then we can pop them on. The Rococo Rose is an interesting one because it's almost iridescent. I think they're all almost iridescent, but I think the Rococo Rose appears more iridescent. 1, 2, 3, 4. I want 2 more large ones. Come on, that's terracotta tile. Don't want terracotta tile. Sorry, terracotta tile, I don't particularly like you as a colour. No, I think that's Purple Posy. You can tell I like the Rococo Rose because I can't find many of them. Right, okay, so we've got one that goes there. And my plan has kind of worked. One that goes there. It's tacky glue. And one that goes there. So it's at that stage where it's still white, but it's actually tacky. And then what I like to do is use the end of the case for the pointy end and just press them in place. So let's bring the other one in and hope that it is as forgiving. So one of those, so that can go over that bit that I didn't like at the corner. That can go on there. And this one can go up there. So yeah, the edges are beginning to be translucent and the middle is still wet, so you've still got that adhesion. Thank you, Kay. If in doubt, Kay will know the number. She is a superstar on these. I am so pleased she joins and gives all the information you need. And do remember, if you want to be get an alert for when I go live, or, you know, today, twice, if you subscribe and hit the alert bell, you'll get a notification when I've gone live. I make sure that I do get the notification that I've gone live because it means I know. So it comes through as an email. And it means that when I go live, I know I've gone live, which helps. And if you leave comments, oh, sorry, this is the downside of this is it squeaks. If you leave a comment on the replay, please do, and I will reply. I always reply to comments on replay. I'm almost up to date, I think, with comments. So you need to I've passed on that stamp, but now you need it. Well, you see, Buffy, that's the whole reason I'm here, is to make you think again. So we're going to go bottom left and bottom right, because we are. This is what I would normally do to adhere a piece of white or indeed colour. If I'm just sticking a layer on, I do the corners, very particular about my corners, and on the long edge I'll do one extra piece. Okay, you are so kind. Someone, bless her, I can't remember who it was, left a comment to say it was like Watch with Mother, which for those of you who are a certain age and in the UK, it was a children's program that was Watch with Mother. And it was things like, Bill and Ben, the Flower Pot Men and things, and going way back, Muffin the Mule. And there was Andy Pandy, and yes, all sorts. And it was, yes, it's Watch with Mother, and it's a kind of British institution. And she described my channel as being like Watch with Mother, which I took as a compliment, because basically it means it's wholesome and a bit of fun. But yes, I try to keep it wholesome and a bit of fun. So there we are. Those are our two cards. Of course, we've got to do the Kylie Bertucci. The wooden tops, absolutely, yes, with the dog that should have fallen over because both right legs moved at the same time. Always made me smile. Anyway, I'm going to flip the camera back up and we'll do the Kylie Bertucci pose because we have to do that. Bless her, I love Kylie. So come on. Oh, no, I'm on the wrong way. I want that. That's what I want. So I'm going to flip that out of the way. And I'm going to do my Kylie Bertucci pose, which I can never get the right side. I'm going to push that down because that's annoying. That way. It's that way. So those are the two cards that we have made today. Let me come back. Thank you all for joining me and putting up with, you know, an hour of madness. I am feeling so much better. I have to say, the relief from the MRI scan has really helped. There has been a significant change in how I'm feeling as a result of that. Spotty dog, that's the one. The biggest spotty dog in the whole world. Yeah, I hadn't realised how much that was preying on my mind. But yes, hurrah is all I can say. So thank you very much indeed for watching. If you're in the UK and you need any Stampin' Up products, I would be thrilled if you wanted to place an order. The links are below. And as soon as... Thank you, Kay. As soon as I know if there are any joining offers at any point, obviously I will let you know. Thank you, Suzanne. I'm just so pleased to be back to me. I haven't really enjoyed not being me. So thank you very, very much indeed. The timing of this has been perfect because I can, yes, I feel more like me. Thank you very much indeed. Next time you see me, I should look more like me because I shall have a haircut. So keep well, keep safe, and I will see you again very soon. Well, Saturday morning, 10 o'clock if you're in the UK. It's a bit early if you're in the US, or late, depending on how you look at it. But yes, I shall be here. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And I will see you again very soon.